Welcome to Huawei's Campus OptiX, a future-proof network choice for 30 years. I'm Michael McDonald, Chief Digital Officer for Huawei Asia Pacific. To start, let's look at the trend to campus services. Traditional campus deployments assume that the majority of traffic was horizontal, with services moving data between users and devices, often within the same tier. With the introduction of cloud services, traffic shifts vertically, with users and devices interacting with or through a data center. This calls for a rethink to make our new campus architecture simple and easy to deploy. New services and devices are being introduced every day, and high bandwidth services like video conferencing and CCTV are commonplace. With Wi-Fi 6, that needs 10 gigabit per second connections, and that quickly exhausts the capabilities of copper. We need a solution that can support not just the bandwidth demands of today, but can continuously evolve to support those of the future. And this new campus needs to be easier than ever to operate and maintain with O&M automation for easy and unified management. We live in an eco-conscious world. Copper is a limited resource, with more than half of it already tied up for various wires and cables in buildings. Fiber is made of silicon dioxide, or sand, and we've got a lot of it. It's 80% more power efficient than copper. Fiber's 40-kilometer range versus copper's 100-meter range is 400 times better. And fiber lasts more than 30 years. That's 4 times longer than copper. With deep fiber, we're penetrating further than ever before to put the benefits of fiber in action. Traditionally, fiber was deployed from the IT room to the building to the floor, and that's it. But we can push it even deeper, past the floor, into the room, right to the desk, and even right to the terminal. Traditional campus networks face a 100-meter transmission distance constraint on copper. Campus OptiX builds a flattened network experience with 3 key advantages. First, Campus OptiX integrates the benefits of IP and passive optical LAN for a future-proof platform with better investment protection. Huawei's OLT platform is ready for next-generation PON technologies, allowing bandwidth to reach 20 gigs to 50 gigs per port in the aggregation, and the core switches run for years because our density is 6 times higher. Second, Campus OptiX is green. By using passive material, we can save energy by almost 30%, and the flattened architecture component of the solution saves 50% of the IT room space and cabling. Third, Campus OptiX converges management, saving labor costs in managing and operating the network. The Huawei Campus OptiX solution includes a unified management platform to maintain the whole network and is plug and play. Campus OptiX uses one fiber for all services to allow a single engineer to operate and maintain the network, making it ideal for nearly any campus scenario, including schools, hotels, offices, and airports. Every campus has its own stringent requirements for bandwidth, size, latency, energy consumption, and even security. Campus OptiX provides the architecture innovation needed for campuses of today and the future. For offices, it provides quick deployment with easy upgradability. For classrooms, the flattened architecture means fewer nodes and faults and simplified O&M. For hotels, it delivers multi-service in a single network with optimal cost. And for airports, Campus OptiX has an anti-electromagnetic interference with long-distance coverage. Let's start by taking a look at how Campus OptiX works in the office. Campus OptiX addresses 3 key scenarios for standard office deployments, including a public network for CCTV and Wi-Fi, meeting room areas, and full coverage of indoor office areas with connectivity to wireless LAN, surveillance, IP phones, cloud terminals, and campus IoT. Campus OptiX for Office provides a green network with space savings up to 80% and power consumption down by 30% due to the reduction in cabling in IT rooms. All services in one network means internet and intranet over a single fiber with high capacity deployment, and it's flexible and easily upgradable by only changing terminals as required. Just comparing passive optical LAN to a traditional box LAN switch, we can reduce power consumption by 27% in a 5-year period. And fiber is inherently corrosion resistant, giving it a life cycle of over 30 years compared to copper, which typically needs to be replaced within 10 years. Traditional LAN IT rooms take up a lot of space and require dedicated air conditioning. A passive optical LAN solution reduces the amount of equipment and power consumption by up to 80%. Using a passive splitter on each vertical tier, we can flexibly provide high-speed bandwidth to offices and even higher bandwidth to meeting rooms. In the horizontal tier, we can reduce cabling by 90%, and our flexible ONU provides breakout connectivity with power over Ethernet for phones, terminals, and more. And the same equipment cabinet can provide power over Ethernet high-speed connectivity for IP cameras and wireless access points. One network, one fiber. Next, let's look at how campus optics can be used for education campus deployments. There are three main scenarios. First, there's the classroom and office where there's a variety of devices including IP cameras, projectors, PCs, intelligent whiteboards, attendance machines, and Wi-Fi access points. The OptiX ONU easily enables all of these with a single fiber at each classroom or office area. Next, there's the dormitory, where the OptiX ONT provides both wired and wireless connectivity for TVs, tablets, laptops, smartphones, and voice with built-in Wi-Fi. It even provides connectivity for native television. And finally, Safe Campus, where the Huawei industrial-grade ONU provides outside connectivity for IP cameras and wireless access points. One terminal per class for all services, with easy plug-and-play and one-click provisioning, and full 100 megabits per second everywhere using Wi-Fi 6 means you get high bandwidth services online in one day. Being a student in a dormitory means you have demands for all of the same services you would have at home, but in a high-density environment. With a single fiber and ONT, each room can provide Wi-Fi, internet, telephone, and video services with a 30% decrease in total cost of ownership. Using a unified SSID, students have free roaming with automatic switching for network coverage with no interruption. And using Smart O&M and Wi-Fi RF power and channel optimization and auto concurrency QoS, the service experience is visible, allowing for proactive maintenance and minute-level adjustments of the services. In the classroom, deployment is easy, with a single fiber providing capacity for all services today and in the future. Students can now realistically, simultaneously stream high-definition video over PoE-powered Wi-Fi 6 access points, adding a new dimension to the classroom. Using campus optics, we can flexibly connect passive fiber directly from the data center to the classroom, eliminating 90% of cabling, 80% of traditional wiring closets, and reducing energy consumption by up to 80%. In each room, we use our ONT to provide full plug-and-play connectivity in the room, including seamless Wi-Fi with zero commissioning. This means a single point of connectivity for everything, including smart whiteboard, loudspeaker, wireless access point, IP camera, room attendance systems, and of course, internet access for students and teachers. One classroom, one fiber. We can also use campus optics for hotels. Hotel guests have high demands, and services in the room and throughout the hotel are a differentiating factor many guests consider. In addition to the office and meeting spaces needing coverage for IP cameras, laptops, and wireless access points, within the guest room, voice, video, wireless, and wired internet access are simply mandatory. One room, one fiber. One ONT saves a lot of cost while providing exceptional services that guests demand. And finally, in public areas, Huawei's PoE plus ONU and access points make the perfect combination of wireless access and optical backhaul. With optimized TCO, one fiber per room, and full Wi-Fi coverage with zero interruption, campus optics is redefining the hotel. In a traditional hotel room, each service is carried across its own cabling infrastructure, whether it's twisted pair for the phone, coaxial for cable TV, or Cat5 for wired and wireless internet. The campus optics ONT provides a convergent point for all of this, but uses just a single fiber, meaning cabling and its associated costs can be reduced by as much as 85%. And with smart interconnection and smart O&M, you can see and control more, making the service experience consistent. Looking closer, cabling exists both vertically between the floors and horizontally across the floors. In a traditional solution, there can easily be 75 components in the vertical part and a whopping 2,100 components in the horizontal part. That's almost 4,000 kilograms of cabling. Using a campus optics solution means a reduction of up to 84% in components. And since cabling is a major contributing factor to the overall costs, an overall total cost of ownership savings of 27%. Similarly to schools, we can connect fiber directly using the OptiX Access OLT between data center facilities and guest rooms, meeting rooms, and public areas. This means 50% less space and 80% less energy for equipment rooms. Combining a single fiber with our ONT, we can deliver an even better multi-service experience that includes 4K video, IP phone, smart speaker, smart lighting, ultra-high-speed internet, and even connectivity for traditional systems like analog phone and cable television. One room, one fiber. And finally, campus optics is the perfect solution for airports. Airports are incredibly busy places with people coming and going and screens everywhere. There's many scenarios to cover, but let's look at 4. First, we have all the systems for public address, flight information, and departure control. Next, we have the duty-free shops with everything from point-of-sale systems and general PCs to wireless tablets and televisions. For travelers, there's high-speed Wi-Fi throughout the lounges and boarding areas. And finally, there's the campus perimeter with a ruggedized IP camera for security. With fiber's innate ability to cover long distances up to 40 kilometers, and with extreme bandwidth and service convergence, campus optics can reduce the amount of equipment or even remove equipment rooms altogether for an 80% reduction, and a deployment efficiency gain of 60%. This is all with a solution that provides seamless 100 megabit per second wireless experience everywhere, with high concurrency and the ability to prioritize users and applications. And of course, it's managed with smart O&M for a full journey experience visible for each user at each moment. Airports present a unique challenge simply because of size and distance. Using the OptiX Access OLT, we can run direct fiber through the campus for duty-free shops, video backhaul, and general wireless coverage. We can even connect fiber directly to the Wi-Fi 6 access points and IP cameras using a special interface module. This allows us to cover large areas with each fiber running up to 40 kilometers. Now that we've covered the common campus scenarios, let's take a short visit to one of Huawei's R&D centers to learn more.
Welcome to Huawei R&D Center here in Xi'an, one of 3 locations where we've deployed our campus optics solution, and thousands of my colleagues are currently benefiting from its capabilities. Let's go take a look around and see what's going on. We're here in front of the V5 office building where about 2,000 R&D staff work. We've deployed our campus optics solution here, and to compare and observe the tangible benefits of this solution, we've also deployed a traditional Ethernet switch solution. Okay, let's go take a look around and see how these 2 networks work. These are the structural diagrams of the 2 networks. The Ethernet solution consists of an equipment room, backbone, management, horizontal cabling, and work area subsystems. The main devices are core switches, the aggregation switch, and access switches. The core switches are connected to aggregation and access switches using optical fibers. The access switches are connected to terminals using 50 to 80 meter long Ethernet cables. Similarly, the campus optics network solution consists of an equipment room, backbone optical cable, distribution subsystem, access optical cable, and work area subsystems. Its main devices are core switches, OLTs, optical splitters, and ONUs. Optical fiber connects the core switch to ONUs, and Ethernet cables are only used to connect ONUs to terminals. There are 2 key differences between the 2 solutions. First, the campus optics solution uses passive optical splitters instead of the active access switches and aggregation switch used in the traditional solution. Second, in the campus optics solution, optical fibers are moved downward to the ONU level, and network cable length is shortened from dozens of meters to just a few. This feature is called optical in, copper out. We've come to the Ethernet equipment room. This is one of 4 in the building. and it's capable of supporting 500 employees as they go about their day. And there's a lot of equipment here. I can count 7 cabinets housed in this fairly sizable room. The switches in these cabinets are active. They need plenty of power and generate quite a bit of heat. And that means that we need to keep the air conditioner running all day long, which is quite an expense. To hold this massive bundle of network cables, we need to have a large cable tray. And remember, this mess of network cables can only support 500 people working. These cables are distributed from access switches to the information points on desks. Now, we've seen the Ethernet equipment room. Let's head up one floor to the Campus OptiX equipment room. We've come to the 5th floor of the building where the Campus OptiX equipment room is. There are only 2 cabinets here compared to 7 in the Ethernet equipment room. And these 2 cabinets are capable of supporting 2,000 employees. So that's 2 cabinets for 2,000 employees versus 7 cabinets for 500 employees. And here we have the OLT cabinet on the right and the ODF cabinet on the left. If we open the OLT cabinet here, we can see that only about half of the space of the cabinet is used. So at the top we have the UPS, and then we have the OLT here, and they're used to help ensure Type B dual homing protection. Now if we open the ODF cabinet here, we can see at the top we have the ODF, and then the rest of the cabinet consists of the 2 to 16 rack-mounted optical splitters. The optical fibers are inside this cable tray. They come from the optical splitters here, and then they're transferred through the cable tray to information boxes at office desks. There aren't very many of these optical fibers, and since they're also quite thin and light, we only need this small cable tray. There's only one more thing to add here, and that's that our air conditioner is switched off right now. We don't need to run it 24/7 because there are only 2 devices that produce any significant heat, and those are the 2 OLTs. The ODF cabinet is purely passive. It doesn't generate any heat at all, and it cools down naturally, which saves us a lot in electricity fees. Okay, let's have a wander over to the office area. Optical fibers from the optical splitter are transported to each desk via this underground cabling duct, and you can see those optical fibers in this glass cabinet. Now if we look inside, we can see 2 different colors of cables. We have the gray Ethernet cables, and we have these white cables bound with the green tape, which are the optical fiber cables. We also have another kind of white cable here, which are telephone lines. Now in this example where we're supporting the same 250 office desks, the difference is clear. There's a much larger bundle of the grey Ethernet cables versus a much smaller bundle of the white optical fiber cables. The information box installed under the desk is where the OptiX Star ONU is stored. It's small, but it can carry several services: cloud desktop, IP phone, wireless access point, video surveillance camera, printer, video conferencing system, and access authorization. Let's look at some numbers. For the same number of users, 2,000 network cables are used in the switch solution. The width of the cable tray is 40 centimeters. In the Campus OptiX solution, there are 500 optical fibers, and the width of the cable tray is just 10 centimeters. Over 30 cubic meters of equipment room space is needed for the Ethernet solution, but the Campus OptiX solution needs less than 1.5 cubic meters. The Ethernet solution takes twice as long to deliver as the Campus OptiX project. Campus OptiX requires just 1/3 of the engineering investment, half of the monetary investment, and energy consumption is also 1/3. Okay, thank you for joining me on this tour. That's all for now, but if you want to learn more about the Campus OptiX solution, you can go to e.huawei.com or contact your local Huawei representative. If you have any questions or feedback, please post in the comments section. Thank you for joining us.
Huawei's Campus OptiX was designed to meet customer requirements for future-proof, flexible campus solutions. MGX-PON provides the industry's top PON network speed, currently reaching 20 gigabits per second and coexisting with 10G PON, making it ideal for Wi-Fi 6 backhaul. DQ-ODN realizes accurate fiber resource management based on AI image algorithms for 100% accurate inventory information and 1-hour closed-loop provisioning time. And advanced fiber with power, or AFWP cables, support the transmission of power and data at the same time, ideal for simple deployment of devices like wireless access points and IP cameras. Since its launch, Huawei's all-optical campus solution has been well received by customers in various industries around the world. Our solutions have been deployed in more than 600 major customers, including the Dubai Creek Harbor project, which is a shared use development with hotels, offices, condos, shopping, and more. At Fudan University in China, a top 3 school, Campus OptiX provides full campus coverage of dormitories and offices, and it's used for reliable campus security. In Singapore, at Changi Airport, Campus OptiX is the foundation for the parking lot security. And with Taj Hotel Group in India, a Campus OptiX fiber solution is now a standard in the group. Huawei Campus OptiX network solutions adopt cutting-edge technologies like passive optical network access, a simplified PON architecture, multi-service transmission, passive long-haul transmission, and converged Ethernet to tackle the ever-growing requirements of a modern campus. This delivers high bandwidth and low latency, improves operations and maintenance, efficiency, supports future evolution, and protects existing investments for enterprises in any campus scenario. The only question is, are you ready to transform? Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.